It's me, Sidechain EQ. What does that mean? Well, we all know regular sidechain sounds like this. Well, this is something similar wherein you're using something to trigger something to duck something else. But in this case, instead of ducking the whole amplitude of the signal, the volume, instead of ducking the whole amplitude of the signal, you're just ducking a certain frequency. Let's say your kick and bass are in the same frequency range, and instead of just ducking the whole amplitude of the bass when the kick comes in, you instead just duck those frequencies. The bass stays in the song. Let's say, the bass is playing a nice lick. You don't want the kick to get rid of it. The bass stays in the song, but the frequency-wise, it gets out of the way. That was quite the explanation. Anyway, let me just show you. Okay, so here I have this track. I just threw it together. It's some chords and a vocal. And there is you can see the vocal here. Here are the chords. I think I made these. These are coming out of a Prophet. Love that Prophet. So here's what it sounds like. And you'll be able to see here. You'll be able to see the Sidechain EQ in action. Here we go.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you would only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever. If you only believe in me.
So there it is. You can see it working, and as she's singing, it's ducking out that frequency. Now that's the frequency where the clarity of her voice lives, and without the sidechain, the chords will step on her voice. So here, let's hear what that sounds like. Here, we'll just turn this off.
Don't you think like that? I will.
The difference will be subtle, but let me tell you what you're listening for. You're listening for her vocal to be, when it's off, her vocal and the chords will sit side by side. You'll be able to hear, but you'll be able to hear much clearer when it turns back on, when her vocal will sit on top of the chords. That's what you're listening for. You're listening for her vocal or the chords to kind of sit back against her vocal. And this is cool because it's dynamic. So it's listening to her sing, and as she sings, it ducks out those frequencies. And when she's not, they're not ducked out. So you get full chord when she's not singing and ducked chord when she is singing. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you would only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever. If you only believe in me. Yeah. Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you would only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you for.
So it's pretty subtle, but the thing to remember, if you don't quite hear what it's doing, think about it scaled up. This is just one instrument and one voice, but in your compositions, you'll be stacking instruments. You'll have hi-hats that are kind of there too. Think about when you spread this out over many tracks, the kind of small difference it makes here gets compounded, and then it can get compounded in the opposite direction if you don't get things out of the way of things, in this case vocal out of the way of chords. If you didn't do that and you had a bunch of instruments stack up, you would see that A, there would be a lot of energy in that area, and B, you wouldn't be able to hear your vocal very clearly. So this is a way, I would put this on a bunch of stuff. And this, if I was using it in this way. Of course, you could use it the standard kick and bass way, instead of ducking out the bass all the way when the kick comes in. So like basically it just gets all the way out of the way. With amplitude, you could instead do it with frequency. But I think I already just explained that. Anyway, so let me show you how I made this. Okay, first we can get rid of everything. Oops. Okay, so here it is, unaffected. Let me play it for you, just so we can make sure.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you'd only believe in me, don't you be.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do is grab an EQ and figure out where her voice is sitting. So let me grab one. Go here, effects, reason devices, MCAS equalizer. I'll let that auto route.
Like that, I will love you forever.
So I'm just gonna grab a narrow cue on a band and sweep around until I hear the part I'm looking for.
If you'd only believe in me, yeah. Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you'd only believe in me.
She found a frequency I don't like that much.
Be like that, I will love you forever. If you'd only believe in me, yeah. Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you'd only believe in me, don't.
So maybe that one. Okay, so now that we have that frequency picked out, let's disconnect this bad boy, because we're going to use him down here. But first, let's get a combinator going. You'll see why I'm using a combinator for this. It's because I need a dial from it, a knob. So didn't really need that to auto route, but that's okay. I'll just do this and then get rid of this. And then route this up like so. So the combinator is routed to the chords. That's it. It's just going through the combinator now. The combinator's not coloring it in any way yet. But I'm going to add this EQ to the combinator. I'm holding shift. I don't want it to auto route anything. I just want to do it myself. Oh, looks like it did anyway. That's okay. It worked out. So the combinator, here I'll press K to hide some cables. Now only what I click on is showing. Now the equalizer is running as an insert into the combinator, which is running as an insert into the chords. Yeah. Okay, so what we really need is this rotary, because this rotary is able to take control voltage input here, and then we need something to send it control voltage input when she's singing. Does that make sense? So control voltage is our sidechain trigger. So I know of something that will send control voltage, and it's the pulverizer. I let that auto route. I shouldn't have, but that's okay, because I don't really want it as an insert. I really I'm not even using the pulverizer as a compressor. I'm just using it because it can send CV and because it can create CV. Yeah. So I'm just going to use this parallel out so that now the compressor is listening. And the compressor itself has an envelope follower right here. Bam, 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 bam. Envelope follower. So this is what we're going to use because it can send CV out. So as I press play, you can see. As I press play, you can see this light up. That's it receiving signal.
I will love you forever if you don't.
Oh, clipping. Anyway, doesn't matter. When you're still in the DAW, it's at 32-bit floating point, so there's pretty much no clipping. Only when you get to the master bus. Anyway, we'll get to that one. That'll be a whole different video. Anyway, just know that it doesn't matter right now that I'm clipping.
Only believe in me, yeah.
So that's our CV data. That's what we need. So let's take that, the modulation output from the follower, the envelope follower, is going to go in to the CV in on the rotary on the combinator. So it's going to affect that rotary. We'll call this Sidechain EQ. Little housekeeping. I have to make this gray for some reason. Graphite. I have to make this one graphite for some reason because I'm just anal like that. Okay. We can do the same here. Okay, a little copy paste action. Okay, so now that we have this routed up, the only other thing we have to do is route it up within the Combinator. So tell the Sidechain EQ, or tell the Combinator to go to the, I'll just rename this EQ so you don't get confused. This is the EQ in the Combinator. You get it? Rotary 1 goes to, there's like a gnat flying around in the house. Anyway, so parameter 1, parametric 1 gain. That's what we want. Now we want it to start at neutral, which is 0. And then we want it to go to a negative value, turn itself down at to some degree. We're going to tweak it and play with it. But so for now,
don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly if you only believe in me.
Okay, so that's working, but now we got to tweak it. So I'll turn all the solo off.
Don't you be like that? I will love you forever if you don't.
So the first thing I'm going to tweak is I need it to duck more. So I'm going to turn the maximum volume down. Yeah, I'm going to make it more of a negative value.
Believe in me, yeah. Don't you?
But as you can see, it's kind of just staying down. So you got to play with it a little bit. Let's see. Let's check the release setting. The release setting is really short, so it's not that.
Think like that. I will
Let's
love
mess
you
with the rotary.
endlessly if you only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever.
You kind of got to find a balance between the rotary setting and the negative value setting to get it to where it comes back to 0 and ducks when you want it to.
If you only believe in me, yeah. Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly if you only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever if you only believe in me, yeah. Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly.
You can actually really hear the difference this time. I think I did a better job this time, actually.
If you only believe in me, don't you be like that? I will love you forever. If you only believe in me, yeah.
So that's how you make that. So, quick recap. On the source, the thing that's triggering, throw a pulverizer. The reason you're throwing the pulverizer on there is to use that envelope follower to send CV data, control voltage data. That control voltage data needs to control a knob, and that knob needs a CV in. So in this case, we used a Combinator. And the Combinator, don't forget, you have to route the Combinator up so that it sees the knob you're trying to macro to. Yeah, because this is a macro knob here. So you could set multiple parameters to this knob. Let's say you even wanted to pick 2 spots. There's actually 2 spots kind of where her vocal sits. Do I want to do that? Let's try it. Curious now. If I were to add it to rotary 2. No, if I were to make rotary 1 also. Parametric 2 gain. Just curious, I never actually tried it this way. Take this down to number -49. Just give it the same setting. Sure. And then sweep.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly if you only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever if you only believe in me. Yeah, don't you think like that?
That even has more of an effect. So now you're like ducking away from her sibilance. Sibilance. I think that's how you say that. You know, the s and t and ch. Now you're ducking away to leave room for her sibilance. So you see how you can get creative with this, and you see how powerful it can be as a tool. And once again, think about it scaled up, and then also think about it being subtly used for kick and bass and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how you make it. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. If it was helpful, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are so inclined, hit the little bell if you're so inclined. I want all the internet points. Give them to me. I guess that's it. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, in the description below, there's a couple of links to download some combinators that I made. One's like a really cool delay that's really super usable and really quite clever, if I say so myself. And the other one is a Thor multi-effect thing. It's like a quick, like one knob makes things fade into oblivion type setup. And there's I have links to the tutorials that accompany those downloads in the description as well. Anyway, this is way too long. You get it. I'll see you guys the next time, and you guys are the best. Thank you so much.